Welcome, disc golf fans. It's the tournament you've all been waiting for. This is Jomez Productions' exclusive MPO featured card footage of the 2016 PDGA World Championships. Here from Emporia, Kansas, presented by Innova Discs. I'm Steve Hill. Alongside me is Nate Sexton. Nate, the excitement in the air is palpable, but that could just be the humidity.
It is humid. I'll agree with that.
We're here at Jones East Park today. Hole 1 is a par 3, 355-foot shot. Nate, what is the best route here that you can take?
I'd say this is probably one of the hardest par 3s on the course. A little bit of a tree window you got to hit. This barn obviously plays a factor. I think the best play here is going to be a forehand. Not just because I'm me, but I think that really is the best way because there's a little bit of a hill behind the basket. So the ideal play is going to be the forehand.
Teeing off first, we have Jason Holmes. He's actually going to take a roller.
That's an option. Without a forehand, I would probably try this. If you're looking for a 2, because there's really not much room to shape a backhand in. Looks like it leaked out OB. That's that hill I'm talking about behind the basket.
All right,
next up is going to be Kyle Ellis. Kyle Ellis, this is his first tournament above an A tier since 2008.
Okay, wow.
Jumping back into the scene.
Great place to do it.
He's going to take that forehand route, but he just hits it early.
Turfed it. You do want to keep it low, but not quite that low.
Next up from Rockvale.
Next on the tee, we're going to have Logan Bowers. He's a 999 rated player from Rockvale, Tennessee. You'll see him in the nice orange and black today.
Yeah, Logan is a solid player. Seen him around at a lot of events.
And we'll see if he decides to take that same forehand route. Looks like that's what he's lining up. Keeps that one up. That's probably what Ellis was hoping to do.
Yeah, that looks very nice. Missed the trees. Didn't quite get that right finish, but that's solid.
And then, of course, the man who needs no introduction, we'll give him one anyway. This is 4-time PDGA World Champion Paul McBeth doing the honors on the featured card today.
He's going destroyer. Nice low
also,
forehand.
Yeah, he's definitely going to take that forehand route there. And just as you expect him to do, he's
on that
right
hillside.
where he wants to be.
Probably in the circle there, barring a weird roll.
Ellis takes the forehand approach, keeps it pretty low, dies out a little bit in the grass there.
Yeah, there's some really thick grass, especially this was a 10 a.m. tee, so the dew is kind of just coming off the ground. That grass can be really sticky. Wow.
And that's a really nice long putt to start. That's exactly how you want to. That's exactly how you want to start off. Yeah, that was a nice par save for a 3.
Nice.
Bowers starts off with the nice birdie as well.
Okay, these guys know they're on the feature card. They're playing like it.
Definitely. Now let's see if McBeth can keep up. And I'm sure that's the start he wants. I know he's been working on getting that putting stroke back, Nate. Do you have any insights into what his...
Yeah, I mean, he's, his back injury was causing some knee pain that was forcing him into that straddle stance. But now he's feeling a little bit better, able to get back to what he normally does, and I think that's going to show in his finishes and his results.
And we're taking a look at the UDisc scorecard here. Couple of birdies. We got a bogey and a par. McBeth starting off right. It looks like either he or Bowers will take the tee here to begin on hole 2.
Should be Bowers. 2, probably the easiest hole on the course, I would say. Really almost nothing in the way. You can take the forehand line, backhand line, anything you want. Just 300 feet, very slightly uphill. Even that creek that you can see there is casual, so not a lot to worry about.
Bowers is going to line up that forehand just like you were talking about. Takes a big hyzer route there.
Yeah. Very good.
Gets a nice friendly roll there as well.
Nice.
McBeth's going to go backhand. Is he just going to go... Oh, he's going to go with the big backhand hyzer route.
Overstable destroyer.
Tries to give it a little push through the air.
Looks like it contacted that tree but fought through it. There's a little flatter line.
And he's parked. That's a great shot.
Yeah. And similar to Logan's line. That's how you play an easy hole.
Everyone's relatively safe here. Oh, and he just clangs it off the bottom of the cage there. That's an unfortunate bid there. He'll clean it up for the par.
Hopefully he can settle in here. A little bit of a rough start, but...
McBeth lining up his easy birdie. He'll take that one. Starting off with consecutive birdies is always a nice way to get rolling, especially he's been starting a little slower lately.
Yeah, great to get out of the gates quick.
Bowers answers him toe-to-toe for the first couple holes. 2 birdies to start off. And Holmes is also going to have a birdie.
Nice.
3 out of 4, not bad.
Not at all. That's, I think, probably actually average for that hole, I would say, in the pro division. Three or so birdies. So
we have McBeth and Bowers both starting out hot with 2 down, and that's always just the way you want to come out of the gates here. Yeah. What do we have for hole 3 here? Looks like a par 3, 520 feet, a little long for a par 3.
It's a really hard hole. I'd say this is, if you're looking at the par, the relation to par, this is probably the hardest hole on the course because you got to clear that barn, miss these trees. Getting a birdie too is very, very rare because a little uphill, 500 feet. I mean, I wouldn't expect to see too many putts at this hole from anybody.
And especially you have some guardian trees there as well.
Yeah, it makes it even that much more difficult at the end. A 3 is a great score here.
Bowers looks like he put a little bit of Anheuser. He's going for the big flex route, but
that's
it looks
good
like
play.
Looks like it turned over a bit.
Yeah, that's kind of the shot you're looking for usually. It's going to be a big turning shot sort of over the barn.
And it looks like Paul did the same thing, and it just held that turn all the way.
Yeah, he needs it to flex if he wants any look at birdie, but that's going to be a fairly easy par from there.
Holmes might get that little flex out. This one looks like it may...
Miss that tree?
Nope.
Oh, that's,
right there.
That's a tough tree.
Now, is there a line to get over that barn easily enough?
Right over the barn is the ideal line if you want to go for a 2. These are all just getting a little
and
right.
It looks like Ellis has just got pulled by the wind there a bit more than he wanted it to.
It's probably not a bad lie. Perfect.
Yeah, he gets a nice little skip. He'll be a little long, but that's the approach you want there.
Kind of a flat putter approach.
Oh, and Holmes just hits that tree, but it looks like he should be relatively safe.
Yeah, I don't think it changed how far he was from the basket.
Bowers gave it a little bid there. Just missed. He'll have a nice, easy look for 3.
Paul's thinking about trying for that birdie.
He's always trying for that birdie.
Looking like a putt.
He just misses it.
Pretty close from 80 or 90, it looked like.
So Ellis cleans it up for the 3. It looks like we're probably going to have a little bit of a par frame here, which that's about what you want on this hole considering the length.
Yeah. It's for no one to get kind of caught up in the OB barn or the OB picnic shelter. No problems with the backstops over there. You can't actually hyzer out and get yourself in a tough position with those baseball fields. So these guys they played this hole how you're supposed to.
Now looking at Bowers here as he cleans up for his par, he's a 999 rated player. He's going toe-to-toe with McBeth for these first 3 holes.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of start you want to see.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a good player. He's had some high up cards at the Vibram Open, I believe. I've definitely seen him up there a few times. So not necessarily uncharted waters for him.
He's bringing his A game to the top card, and now we hit our first par 4 of the day. Got a little bit of a water carry, 562 feet. What's the approach here, Nate?
I think just a really high shot. You want to get a big distance driver up over this first wall of trees and fall into that field there that we're kind of flying over now. That sets you up for a nice approach. So for me, it's like a high hyzer into this area by this little tree on the left, and then you have 150 to 200 left to the pin.
So definitely a little bit more of a placement golf.
Yeah, and it is eagleable, by the biggest arms. If you get something high and turning over, there is OB right though if you turn it over too much.
And there's that high shot over the trees you were talking about from Bowers.
See, that's tracking right, but that should stay safe if he can flex. Hard to see exactly where it landed.
McBeth goes with the big hyzer route, looking for that gap there.
Yeah, he's probably going over those trees, actually, the ones on the left. But yeah, that's a good play. Straight over the trees on the left, or on the right from this angle, and then swinging left into the fairway.
Now Holmes goes with a little flatter shot. That's probably more relatively due to a little less power than
Yeah,
someone
yeah,
like
you
McBeth,
can
right?
you could bite off a little more if you hit that low gap. If you don't quite have the power to clear, certainly the farthest shot you could probably throw would be just lacing through that gap.
Ellis finds the early tree there. He's going to have some ceiling to clear, and he's just meeting some struggles here.
Yeah, not a great shot there.
Holmes with the low flat shot, giving it a run.
Wow, perfect.
It's a really nice approach. McBeth is going to line up the forehand look here.
So Paul probably hit that tree and fell, looking at where he is. Perfect shot,
He'll
though.
be, what, about 20, 25 feet out from the pin there?
Yeah.
You're seeing a lot of forehands today. Is that do you just need the forehand for this kind of course?
It helps on every course, I think, but some of these angles with the trees, a little bit of wind. Again, you're getting some kind of really lush grass, so you're not worried about too much of skip. So a forehand play can often be a good option there because it'll fight through the wind and just get down and stick near the basket.
McBeth cleans up for a nice birdie. That's his third of the day at this point.
There you go.
Ellis takes his par after hitting a couple of those early trees. Bowers also taking another birdie. He's started off pretty hot today.
Yep.
And Holmes takes a birdie as well after that nice approach. He had a nice little tap in there. So as we head into hole 5, let's take a look at the UDisc scorecard. McBeth, 3 down. Bowers also 3 down. Ellis struggling a little bit. He's 1 over right now, and Holmes is kind of hanging right there with these guys as well. And we get into hole 5. We have another par 4, 477 feet. Looks like there's a lot of OB on this one.
Yeah, a lot of OB, but probably on the surface, I'd say this is the most eagleable par 4 because of the distance. You just have to want to carry all that long grass is OB that we're flying over, and you have kind of a tight little green here with the street OB as well. But as far as distance, most of the top players have this shot in the bag if they want to go for it, but it's also a pretty safe and easy play to play a layup just like this and secure a birdie.
And he keeps it in the string there, gets the green flag, which you always want to see. And of course, it looks like McBeth is just going for the huge shot there.
Yeah, and this is just a Thunderbird, so that shows you, this is feeling like a control shot for him. That looked like it came up very close to the line.
And let's see what our spotter says.
Oh yes,
He gets the green flag.
that's a great break.
Holmes is also going to play that placement shot, try to
Sit
keep it in
down.
bounds there,
Good.
and he also does. And let's see if Ellis can get back on track after the last hole. Not as many trees
That
on this
looks
one to contend
fine.
with.
That should hyzer just perfect.
So everyone's safe off of this hole.
This is a great landing spot for these guys. Just a short hyzer putter shot from here.
Oh, and it
put
looks
a
like
little-
Ellis finds another tree.
little
a
extra
little bit
on
of a
that.
bush there.
Easy mistake to make, to throw a little too hard when you got the OB to clear. But he should still hopefully have a putt.
Holmes going with a little standstill backhand.
That's how it's done.
Tried to give it a run there.
So Paul right on the line.
And bang.
Yes, the eagle.
That is an eagle. That's a very large bird. And he's just going to take his casual stroll because it's no big deal to him.
That is a great score. I mean, that's definitely what he's going for on this hole. He feels like this landing zone is there for him, and clearly it is. He nails the putt.
Bowers answers with his birdie. So he is going to end up losing 1 to McBeth on this hole, but really can't get too upset about losing 1 to an eagle, right?
I would say you can't even get upset at all. Yeah, you kind of just, if someone wants to get an eagle, congratulations. You just give them a couple claps and move to the next. But eagles are a rare and beautiful bird, like you said.
There we go. So McBeth taking the 2 on that hole, puts him to 5 down through 5. And he's off to the races early.
Yeah, that's a very nice start, especially with the third hole being such a difficult birdie to find yourself 5 under through 5. I would venture to say he's probably the only person going to be at that score through those holes today.
Hole 6, another par 4 of our stretch of par 4s today. I believe there's 4 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
This one we've got a little bit more of a bend to it looks like.
Yeah, the challenge here I think is generally the low ceiling. So it's going to be hard for people to get a lot of distance because of that low ceiling. The other option is the forehand out around, but you won't get all the way to the pin or anything. but a cool kind of tough hole.
And McBeth is going to challenge that low
Oh,
ceiling.
that's ripped.
And it keeps going over the hill. And he is parked.
That's a McBeast mode shot. That's a ridiculous shot.
Bowers is going to take that forehand hyzer route around.
Yep. Oh,
Oh,
no.
and he ends up OB.
Got a little wide on him.
Holmes is trying to keep up with Paul there.
See, that right there is a perfect drive. Like, Paul's is somewhere else above perfect that most of us never get to see. But that shot by Holmes is ideal.
Ellis is just scuffling a bit this morning with the trees.
At least he got inbounds. Oh, man, but the trees, yeah, they won't leave him alone.
Bowers is from the drop zone here. Gives it a big high hyzer approach there.
Okay.
And that's a nice
That
recovery.
worked for him. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen anybody go big hyzer from there. I haven't seen a lot of shots played from that drop zone, but clearly that worked great.
Ellis with the easy up shot.
That'll work. There's a little slope to the right here. You can have some OB issues. Wow, Paul not even
And that's a nice birdie 3 before Paul has even had a chance to look at his.
Wow.
And that would be 2 straight eagles back to back.
And that one didn't even make him sweat. That was a short little putt. Incredible.
That's actually the first time we've seen back-to-back eagles in a major or NT since Ricky Wasaki did it at last year's Ledgestone Open.
Okay.
So, bit of a rarity out on the course.
Yeah, very, very rare. I don't think that's anything I've done in my entire career. Back-to-back eagles. That's pretty incredible.
So now, through 6 holes, McBeth is actually 7 down.
Sort of video game numbers, but we'll see. We'll see if he can hold on to it. That's incredible.
We've got one more par 4 here, 555 feet. How's this one going to play?
This one is like effectively kind of an island green. Most people are going to play a big hyzer up near the American flag, trying to land just beyond all these pines, right behind the next tee, and then you shoot down to these 3 trees with the basket right behind them. So you just kind of try to hit those trees or squeak right under them. And,
Just as we see on the flyover there from the practice shots.
Yeah, and find a spot on the green.
McBeth gets the honors again after his back-to-back eagles.
Another destroyer. That looks, if I had to guess, I'd say that came up a little short. Looked like a little too much hyzer.
Holmes is really pumping out these nice flat shots today. Is that more of do you think that's more of a choice, or is that just his throwing style?
I think it's probably his style. This is a cool play here. The forehand, I used to throw the forehand, but I'm scared off of it by the super tall grass. But these guys are braver than I. I just don't want to catch that grass and fall down, so I've been going backhand. But the forehand can set you up for a really good spot where you can actually see the landing zone.
Here's Holmes on the approach. Hard to see where that one landed. Let's see what Bowers does with his forehand here.
Wow.
Oh, and he's in the shrubbery.
Yeah, a little deep.
He's gonna have to do some gardening to get out of that one. It looks like McBeth from a knee.
Oh yeah, so Paul was a bit short. He kind of flirted with those trees, and now oh shoot. Yeah.
And he's actually gonna go OB.
He's got a little too much glide on that rock.
Well, he stocked up a couple shots with those eagles, so he can play with a couple, I guess.
Yeah, he definitely has a little bit of wiggle room. Oh,
nice little overhand shot there on the approach.
Sit. Yeah.
Gets a friendly roll toward the basket. That's not bad.
Nice.
And Ellis gives it a bid, just misses to the right. McBeth is coming back in from the OB. And he saves his par.
Yeah, no harm done.
It's only his second par on the day so far. Obviously, he'd like to have that one back, but he's built in a little bit, like you said, a little bit of wiggle room. And Bowers flips it over out of the bush.
No way. Bow wow. That is a beautiful shot. I wonder how much of the basket he could see there.
Might have just been a prayer.
That was amazing.
Ellis takes his bogey.
All right.
And as we check out the scorecard, it looks like Holmes took took his own, or did he take a bogey there?
Holmes got
No,
the bogey.
he took the
Ellis
bogey.
with
I'm
the
sorry,
par,
that was
yeah.
my fault. Yes, Ellis took the par there, so that was a nice recovery on that part. Hole 8, we got a par 3, 370 foot, so shortening it up after that stretch of longer holes. Is this kind of a breather in the course here?
A little bit, but you have all that long grass is OB, so it's a long carry into that green that just gets skinnier and skinnier. So I don't find this hole to be stress-free because there's a lot of mistakes that can be made, but certainly a gettable 2.
And Bowers is going to look for that 2.
That's a little wide.
That's hanging out there a bit longer.
Get back in bounds. Okay.
And it looks like he's safe.
Yeah, probably a 60-footer there.
And what's McBeth throwing here? I'm
This
not
is a
familiar with
T-bird.
that one. That is
This
a
is a
T-bird.
T-bird. Yeah, maybe even a T-bird 3. That's just what you want. Flat. Keep it flat. Don't let the wind mess with it.
Ellis is going to...
Oh, before the tree.
A little short.
That
Gets
looks
the
good,
green
though.
flag, but he may have a look for birdie, actually.
Yeah, that looked good.
Holmes with another flat shot.
Oh,
Up the middle, turns just a bit.
That might be the best shot of the group. Oh, a little heavy on the skip.
He's going to be, what, 25 out there?
Yeah, something like that.
Bowers just takes a little layup approach there.
Might
Not
have
much you can do there.
Could have slipped out of his hand a little. Looked a little bit odd. There's
Ellis
a nice putt.
for the nice birdie.
Hopefully he can get something going with that.
Yeah, it's a good little confidence boost after a little bit of a rough start this morning. Holmes after that drive, also going to card a birdie.
Nice.
And McBeth will also take a birdie.
Wow, 3 birdies. They're making it look easy.
3 birdies. Bowers is going to clean up his par. Doesn't look too happy about that, but considering where he started out, he didn't have that much of a look for birdie. But
Yeah.
through 8 now, McBeth is 8 under par. And we've got Bowers trying to hang at 5 down. Holmes is 4 down. And Ellis struggling a little bit, is at even right now as we head into hole 9. And we've got some more distance, right?
Yeah, I think this is one of the hardest. This is probably the hardest par 4 out there. It's a skinny fairway, as you can see, OB right and left. You got a couple options up the middle with a backhand, around the outside with a forehand, but then it doesn't get any more wide. You've still got a really skinny approach here on the green. That ditch is OB this time, a little bit of water behind the basket, and those guardian trees. Kind of, if you hit those, leaves you outside the circle with a tester putt.
I feel like you maybe have a future in the tour guide business.
Yeah, I could show some people around some courses.
Got to work on your backwards walking.
I taught him that. Around
Very
the outside
nice.
forehand.
Nice little forehand. It did look very Sexton-like there.
Yeah, had to teach him that route.
Now, do you like this kind of up the middle route if you can avoid that tree there, or is it safer to take that route that you were talking about?
Yeah, for me, I'm going around the outside here. I don't want to mess with these trees right here because they're super thick, as you can see. And also, I don't really want to mess with floating towards the OB at the end of the shot because it is a downhill throw.
It really just goes to show the need for that variety of shots in your bag, of being able to call on that forehand when you really need it.
Yeah, and I mean I will readily admit that the best possible shot is a backhand if you really crush it perfect, but I think the safer shot is the forehand. Wow.
And Holmes does crush that backhand.
That was a fantastic shot. Safe. I didn't see exactly where it went, but he pitched it out and it worked. This is a common play here. The thing about this is you need this shot to slow down before it goes OB. That one did not.
No, but looks like he is hitting some more trouble here. McBeth is going to take...
Slow turning rock.
And he's going to slide it off the road.
That's a great play.
Just off the edge there.
That's a perfect play. I mean, that's going to slow the disc down. He should be parked.
Now, do you think he was actually trying to do that, or will he just tell you he was trying to do that?
I hope he won't say he was trying to do that. He wasn't trying to, but it's not like it's necessarily a lucky break because he's over the road so long. He's turning the disc. The shot has been made, and it's a good shot. But, you know, the slide was a little extra gravy on it.
Ellis continues scuffling after he hit off the band there, and then we've got Bowers going wide. And Paul hits for another birdie.
Nice birdie there.
Very nice start for him today. especially considering all the chatter of he's played a little slower more recently, has given some guys leads early on, has needed to come back late. Coming out strong out of the gates is going to be big for him as Worlds kicks off here in this long slog of a week.
Yeah, of course. And, you know, you probably could figure this out if you think about it for a second, but, you know, there's one tournament that means infinitely more than all the others to Paul and to all of us, really, and that's the World. So I had no doubt that he would come in focused, and I'm not in the least bit surprised to see him on a course record pace.
Always thrown Innova and competed with Innova. I don't think I'd be playing the sport if it wasn't for creating the disc itself and then just taking it to the next level over and over and over again. How great the discs are themselves. It's really gained my trust, and I don't think I would be here without Innova. I don't see myself doing anything else.
As we come back from our commercial, let's take a look at a little trivia question today. The first PDGA Professional Disc Golf World Championships were held in Los Angeles, California in what year? You can go to discgolf.ultiworld.com/trivia to enter and win a $25 gift card from Dude Clothing. And let's head into hole 10 here, Nate. What do we got?
This is another par 3, slightly uphill maybe, close to flat. This is the one that Paige Pierce aced in the mixed doubles. You got the option of going right up the tunnel, backhand, or again a forehand around. Those are the two routes I think we'll see.
And it looks like McBeth is going to line up that forehand. Is that another destroyer shot here?
Yes.
He keeps that one a little low, pulls it a little bit left.
I'd say he's probably 40
He's
feet.
gonna be just a little shorter than you probably need to get a little more skip out of that at the end there.
Yeah. So here's your tunnel shot.
And that was a very similar line to that shot that Paige took during the doubles that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Bowers also going to go run that gap up the middle, but he's just going to get knocked down a little short there.
Flipped a little too much. And that is a little
Ellis
high.
pulls his, just a little high.
It looked like it fell to a putt.
He's just finding a lot of the foliage today, unfortunately. Bowers with the long bid, can't convert. Ellis is going to take a jump at it. Oh,
Wow. Close.
just off the rim.
Okay. A
McBeth gives it a little body English there for the birdie.
little heat check putt.
Very nice. So that's actually his third straight birdie. That's going to end up putting him 10 down through 10. Can you ask for a much better start than that?
No. You can't. Not
And
at
he
all.
had, well, I guess you could. He had an OB in there.
Yeah, but still, you wouldn't want to ask for it. I feel like it'd be bad luck to
It
ask
would
for
be a little bit greedy.
You don't want to
wouldn't
be looking for 11 down through 10.
it? That is true. So as we take a look at the UDisc scorecard here, like we said, McBeth is going to be 10 down. Holmes actually jumped over Bowers there. He's at 6 down. And Ellis still struggling a little bit to 2 over. But this is his first big event in a while.
Yeah. He'll right the ship here, I think.
And we've got another par 3 here. Looks like there's a little bit of a water carry. That's not something these guys are going to have to worry about too much, though.
No, this is probably one of the signature holes at Jones. Nice shot over the water, slightly downhill. You got the OB lake, obviously, and the OB picnic shelter.
As we get a nice little shot tracker
Oh, yeah.
from McBeth, just gets a little bit of a flex, and I believe he just hit the pin with that one. You can't do it much better right there.
Yeah, I think you could write down a 2.
Well, Holmes is trying his best, but it looks like it's just going to flare out a bit at the end there. He's going to be a little short as well.
Not a bad shot.
Is he going to hit that tree, or is he going to miss that there for Bowers?
Got through it. Now he just needs to come up short of the picnic area.
He'll have a look. He's about 30, 35 out there.
Yep.
And let's see. Ellis is still in recovery mode after that 6 a couple holes ago, and he's going to give that a great run up the middle.
Nice shot.
He's going to be looking at a birdie there. Oh, and it looks like Holmes may have rushed that one a little bit.
His style is that way a little bit. So if it works, but it's been working for him. But he's a quick moving putter.
Yeah, Bowers put a little too much heat on that one, and Ellis cans the birdie.
Much needed birdie.
He's definitely in recovery mode. Bowers a little bit angry after that, missing that last putt, it looks like, and McBeth is just going to be able to drop it right in, and it doesn't get much easier than that. That's 4 straight birdies for him. Let's give a little bit of love to Ellis as well. He really kind of avoids going on tilt there with the with the birdie there, the par birdie after that unfortunate 6 that he had back there. So pretty nice recovery, showing a little bit of mental strength as we head into hole 12. Another water carry.
Yeah, a little bit shorter hole, longer over the water, but shorter in total distance. You got this nice little built-up green. Pretty much the toughness here is about those 2 guardian trees. You can go straight up the middle or kind of play at the tree on the right and look for a hyzer.
And just like you said, it looks like that's what Paul's going to do.
And I doubt he's trying to go around that. I think he's probably looking for that to hook up in front of the tree.
Okay.
But it looks like an okay result.
And there's that straight up the gut shot. It's going to fade out just a little bit for Ellis. He's going to have a longer look than he probably wanted there.
Pretty hard to make a bid at a long putt here because of the elevated basket.
Bowers is going to be right around Ellis territory there. And let's see what Holmes has in store. Keeps it low.
If it can stay up, that's perfect.
That's a nice shot there. Didn't hit that little built-up green. He'll be looking nice there. And McBeth, he just really likes birdies, doesn't he?
He's addicted, I think.
That's 5 in a row for him at this point. Ellis was trying to get a second in a row there and just comes up a little short. Bowers with a nice answer there. Yeah, with a little bit of elevation there. It just adds that extra element.
Yeah, Logan has a very powerful putt. He puts it on a direct line, good in the wind.
Good. And there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
So, 3 out of 4 birdies. That's not bad.
Not at all.
After 12 holes, we have McBeth at 12 down. He is absolutely on fire today, I think, is all we can say about him at this point. Not that we expect much less, but there was a little bit of chatter otherwise coming into this event.
But those scores, 6 and 7 for the other 2 guys, are really great through this stretch of the course. I mean, if they weren't being compared to a full-on McBeast mode McBeth right now, I mean, those are some great.
They are getting a bit overshadowed.
Numbers. Yeah.
Now, what's the lay of the land here on this one?
This one is a par 4. You got to play a big hyzer shot moving left, and then you have the angle to come back to the right over the OB creek.
It's like you say it and he does it.
Yeah, that's the way. That's what I try to teach him to do.
That's you're putting on those clinics for him every day.
That needs to hook up. I think it's doing it, though.
Now, it looks like it's getting a little bit breezier out there. Is that something where we're going to have to see some of these guys start to stable up a little bit more?
Yeah, and that's kind of, a Kansas signature move, is to get a little bit breezier as you play. It's always that way here in my experience. So you always got to have a couple really overstable drivers to combat that.
Now, it looks like most of these guys are able to do that.
That's the spot right there. I like that shot.
Yeah, Ellis has really shown a little bit of fortitude here over the last couple holes, and my goodness, that is a very high throw.
So that's not the way you really want to play this hole, but it worked perfect. He would like to move a little bit more left and go through the gap, but like this shot right here, get through. Yes,
it does come through.
Perfect. But yeah, if you don't have that and you're a little too far right, if you have the power, up and over is definitely an option.
He just makes his own luck sometimes with those kind of shots as well.
That looks really nice.
Yeah,
the tough thing here is that OB creek. So if you make contact with any of these trees, you're probably dropping straight OB.
It looks like everyone's safe, though. It's pretty nice, clean approaches here for the most part.
Yeah, that was a well-played hole to this point.
Ellis just misses that jump putt a little bit.
But anytime you have a birdie putt here, you're doing all right.
Yeah. Holmes cleans his up. That's a nice birdie. And that makes it 6 consecutive birdies for Paul McBeth. I'm not sure how you can keep going and keep putting the pressure on like that. I feel a little bit bad for the rest of these guys on this card.
It's a marathon, this event, so if they just keep making birdies, they're going to be happy.
What's your longest consecutive birdie stretch?
In a tournament? I don't know. Probably around 10 to 12.
So McBeth has some work to do here to catch you, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, let's head into hole 14. It's another par 3, 422 feet. And that is not the basket we'll be throwing to. That'd be a bit short. What's going on with this one?
Really hard par 3. You can see the basket just creeping into view on the left. You got the lake right behind. You got the OB creek all the way on the left, and the green really skinnies down. All those rocks that you can see there are OB. So a very, very tough green to reach because you got to come in with a lot of power, a lot of hyzer right into all that OB. Paul with the destroyer. That's floating too much.
And it looks like he might have been OB there. We didn't see the flag, but
I think it went OB.
I'm thinking that is OB as well.
It looked like it had too much glide. That's a pretty good play there. This hole is very often like a drive it to 50 feet, half-hearted run, take your 3 type of hole. Because it's hard to run it. It's on a little slope, and it's right next to all that OB.
That's a really nice clean drive from Bowers there. He'll have a long look at birdie, but...
Yeah, I'd say that's kind of where everybody seems to land. You're doing something special if you get parked on this hole.
So now, is there going to be a drop zone on this one where McBeth will come back in?
No.
Okay, he'll just take his line.
Yeah, he'll play from
there.
where he went OB.
Nice little soft forehand approach from Ellis there, and let's see what Bowers has got. Gives it a bid with the jump putt.
Oh, looks like some nice sticky grass for him.
Yeah, he does stay in there, so that's nice.
That was an aggressive go from that far away.
They're all getting a little aggressive. They're being inspired by the aggressive play of McBeth, it looks like.
Ooh, squeaker.
He gets a little bit of love there, and he knows it. You can tell. He knows he snuck one in there.
Yeah, he does. I was heckling him there, giving it back. I told him that was a soft putt, and he got lucky.
That was a par, so that does end his birdie run, but he'll take it, I'm sure, especially given the OB and the little bit of luck he got there with the friendly bounce.
Yeah, it was a good putt. I mean, it deserved to go in. It was just a funny-looking little skipper.
So we got pars for everyone on that hole. After 14 holes, McBeth now at 13 down. Apparently he is human. He's not just going to go 14 down through 14.
Well, there's still more eagles to be had. You never know.
That's true. And Holmes and Bowers are keeping right up at -8 and -7. That's not bad as we head into hole 15. Another par 3, 351 feet.
Yeah, I would say this is a little easier hole. Backhand hyzer or high forehand hyzer. Those are your two options. Just looking to get past that last big tree.
Which do you prefer? Do you prefer to take the forehand or the backhand?
I go forehand here. I feel like there's a little bit less in the way. I just try to throw it up over. There's a street light pole you can see out there, maybe if somebody takes that line.
And Paul has not been listening to your teachings on this one. He's going to go with the backhand hyzer.
Yeah, and I can't fault him there. The backhand is a great shot as well.
And he's right in his range there. You can see the flag getting a little breezy there.
Okay, so this is a rarely seen shot up the middle. And yeah, a little bit too much turnover. So
I wonder if that's the wind coming into play there as well.
Here's your forehand line. Take it high over that light pole.
Can't do it much better than that unless you're going to put it in the basket. Very nice shot from Logan Bowers there.
Perfect.
Ellis is going to try and follow that same route. No, he doesn't. He's going
to
take it up the middle a little more.
Yeah, he was trying to follow it, definitely, but he threw it just a bit low.
Interesting, though, that we're seeing, this is one of the few holes where we've seen that variety of shots. Often it's either just the big hyzer or the backhand route, but these guys all kind of took different paths. It's kind of nice to see a little bit of that variety here.
Yeah, that's always good for a hole design. When you get a couple different ways, you can kind of see the individuality of all the different players.
And we're having a couple missed putts here, not being able to convert.
That's going to be a painful bogey.
Paul's going to take that birdie there, seeing if he can start up another birdie train to close things out. And yeah, Holmes does clean up for a bogey.
Certainly not the hole you'd expect to come up and bite you.
Bowers, look how hard he threw in that putt. He's just full go the whole time on that putt, even if he's parked.
Yep.
With some authority.
He just knows that one speed. He pops them in.
So we are through 15 now. And Holmes took the lone bogey there. So Bowers and him swap places on the card. And we've got hole 16 coming up.
Starts off with a tight gap, but you're so close to the gap that it's not a huge factor. The main thing here is the rough directly behind the basket is very thick. So you want to just have that perfect speed control to clear the hill and rest down right below the basket. If you go even 20 feet long, you're going to have a really hard putt coming out of those woods.
Is the grass pretty well manicured around the basket too? Is there a chance to skip away on something like that?
Yeah, but most guys, if they're coming in with a backhand, are going to be going mid-range or putter, I would think. This is going to be a rock. So not too much skip,
Yeah,
you would hope.
not as much of a risk of running that.
But that
OB.
is a bit long. I mean, it's not OB.
No, not OB.
It's
That's right. Just too long.
It's
yeah.
about just as bad as OB almost, though. This might even be a putter.
If you've got the power for it, you might as well throw it. That does look like a putter shot.
That's perfect.
And that's two nice little park jobs in a row there for Bowers. He's kind of hitting his stride as we get to the backside of the round here.
Yeah, that's always a good time to throw in a couple nice shots. That looks like it's fading a little early.
Yeah, he's going to end up a little short there for Ellis. He's going to need some luck there for a long one. What do you think Holmes is listening to in those earbuds?
Man, I don't know the guy, so I really have no idea. But whatever it is, oh, I was gonna say it's working, but that didn't quite clear the hill.
Yeah, it got a little caught up in the long stuff there as well. Let's see what Ellis can do here with his bid.
Nice bid.
Just gonna come up a little short, but that's what, 60 feet or so, and then a
Yeah.
little step putt from Holmes.
Ooh.
Oh, just off the cage.
Very close.
And we see McBeth taking a little straddle from the knee out in the shrubbery here.
Yeah.
Falls down and just can't convert. But you have those branches sticking out there. Just do not make that a convenient lie.
That shows you how tough that rough is, because he was barely in it, and he still had an obstructed putt.
So Bowers is going to take the lone birdie on this hole after his very, very clean drive there.
Yeah, that was as good as you can do it. I haven't seen too many people go to the putter there, but obviously with the power, that is such a great great option, because you're probably not going to go deep.
Let's check in with the UDisc scorecard. McBeth still sitting at 14 down after his par there. Bowers 9 down. He's making a late charge here, trying to secure himself a friendly spot, a nice tee time for round 2. 2 more holes to play. Hole 17 is another par 3, 405 feet. This one looks relatively open.
It is, yeah. Again, you've got that really tough rough on the right, so that's the main thing to look out for. You'll either see probably like a fairway drive or a mid-range backhand straight at it, or you can throw the forehand out to the left and try to bring it back.
And there Bowers goes with that forehand.
Looks like it got a little high on him, but we'll see if it has the distance. Yeah,
It
he's got
does.
a putt.
It's going to be a long one.
Yeah.
But he'll be giving it a look.
Just got a little high on him. Didn't quite get the penetration to make it all the way to the pin.
McBeth with that swirly destroyer.
That's a better line.
Yeah, I took it a little flatter. You could tell with that one. Didn't get quite as much height, and it's a little bit of a roll away into the bush there. But he should have
be
a pretty
okay,
good
but
birdie
those
look.
bushes are bad. It depends how it finishes. He will have a little bit of stuff to contend with, I think.
Oh, Ellis just is finding so many of these trees
Yeah.
today. You didn't think there were that many trees in Kansas. Unfortunately, Ellis keeps finding them all, and Holmes just turns that over.
That is a lot of trouble. So that's going to come down to just what kind of little lie he got. There are some really bad places in there, and there are some places you can get out. Oh, so he must have pitched?
It looks like he had a friendly
Or maybe he
result
bounced
there.
back there. I don't know.
That was a really, really nice, solid forehand approach there. Just the right amount of speed. Really nice recovery from Ellis there. Oh, and Bowers just tickles it on the right side. Just a little too much heat.
See, look how tricky Paul's putt is. Even right there, he's got to do a little from a knee, snap it like that.
And he gets it.
He's
'Cause that's what
crawling
he
out.
does.
Yeah, great putt.
Bowers, after that birdie bid, cleans up his par. And you're right, he does put a lot of steam on that putter coming in there.
Yep.
And Ellis is also going to take his par here, it looks like. As we get cleaned up, we are on the home stretch.
So yeah, so Holmes did bounce out of those trees. That's fortunate. I thought it looked like he was going into the creek. Looks like he got a good bounce.
And McBeth takes the lone birdie. All right, final hole for the day. Par 4, 530 feet.
You're going to see the vast majority of players here just kind of lay up short of the parking lot and then take another shot into the green because the fairway, as you can see, gets very, very skinny. The bushes on the right are not OB again, but they're very nasty. So you're going to see a lot of players just kind of play a smooth 300 and then the remaining 230 or so feet into the green.
And then are there some players who will try and go big or go home here?
Absolutely. I would expect Paul is one of those players. He generally likes to try to find those eagles where he can, and this is a hole he's capable of reaching here with his destroyer.
Keeps it a bit low, gets to turn over a bit.
That's not.
But it's going to kick up some dust and land OB.
Yeah, a little bit too low, I think. He didn't quite get it. I mean, if it gets inbounds, he's putting, but it's a tough play.
That's the risk he takes sometimes when you've had the kind of round he has.
Yeah.
He built a couple of those shots in for himself.
Yeah, I certainly can't question his strategy at this point, looking at his scorecard.
Ellis is going to take the forehand route, pulls it pretty far left.
That's a good play if you've got it. The forehand, it gets you right into the good landing zone. See, I'm not sure what.
It looks like he was taking the big.
I don't know what he was hoping.
Flex route.
Yeah, I don't know what he was hoping would happen there. I think I have to think he was trying to lay up and he just accidentally threw too much on it because I don't even think it was a distance driver.
Oh,
no.
And that's an unfortunate turn there.
At
right
least
at the end.
he touched inbounds up there, so he'll get a putt. This is kind of the textbook play on the hole, I think. A forehand drive into another forehand upshot.
Yeah, really nice approach there from Bowers. He's been pretty impressive today.
Very.
Hard to stand out on a card with Paul McBeth shooting as hot as he has, but I'd say that Logan Bowers has been a nice surprise today.
Yeah, I think he's a top 10 position with that round, which is fantastic at the World Championships.
Yeah, I mean, for a 999 rated player, people might not know him too well. He's making a little noise. Nice little showing for him here. It kind of speaks to the game-raising game that people like to talk about. Trying to keep up with someone like McBeth on a card like this.
Yeah, he's tapping that in for 10 down, I think. Really a great round.
And McBeth, he's going to take the par there after the OB. Bowers again with another birdie. He did. Like you said, 10 down. McBeth ends up 15 down for the round. That looks like that is going to be enough to put him into first place. Let's take a look at some of his stats today. 100% on the scramble rates. He was also 100% inside the circle. And does it get much better on fairway hits other than taking that OB at the end?
No, it's pretty hard to shoot that minus 15 and not have some great stats.
And let's take a look at the leaderboard after day one. It looks like after McBeth's hot 15 down,
You got Ricky Wysocki.
Ricky Wysocki coming with the 14 down. So we are going to have quite the showdown tomorrow. Nico LaCastro and Jeremy Colling at 12 under. We've got Devin Owens, Cam Colglazer, Matt Bell, and, like you said, Logan Bowers right up there tied for 7th with his 10 down. Nice showing.
Yeah, I would just say if that top 2 surprises you, you haven't been paying enough attention.
It looks like we're going to have quite the lead card tomorrow. Please make sure to come back. We will have hot round footage every day here at Jomez Productions. If you'd like full round recaps and any other insights, head to discgolf.ultiworld.com, and we will see you tomorrow for round 2 of the PDGA World Championships here in Emporia, Kansas. Have a good one.